Welcome back to Titanium Hanger. This is Mike. I'm coming at you with another video. This time I want to talk to you about Fanstoys Hydra and all of the options that are out there for the 6-shot in the Masterpiece line. Now, I'm going to talk about a few discussion points in here, and I really would like for you to comment. I want to hear what you have to say. And the main thing, I'm going to throw a few discussion topics out there throughout the video, but the main thing I want to know is, are you the kind of person, the collector, that waits for Fanstoys? Do you buy the first one that comes out, all of them that come out, and just kind of swap them out as you go? Or do you buy one, like say Gcreation Fuma, and you're happy with it, so there's no need for the Fanstoys one? I'm going to tell you, I'm usually the one, if I think it looks cool enough, I'll buy it, but then I'll swap it out if a better one comes along, or keep them both, just depending on how good the first release was. But I actually waited on Fanstoys, so I don't have Hydra or Fuma or the MMC, the Mastermind Creation version, and so I don't have the Terminus Hexatron. And I'm going to tell you why, so I'm going to get into that here in a little bit. But comment on what kind you are, or do you just wait for Fanstoys all the time? Like, there are people out there that have been waiting 2 years for a Fanstoys Blitzwing. There's people that have been waiting 2 years for a Fanstoys Hot Rod, and they may not have a different version of those in their collection. So I'm just curious, sound off of where you're at with this. So first off, the main reason I was able to wait with no problem at all is because of this guy. This is Titan Returns. Hasbro did a good job with this one, and I really think that he looks good. He's an improvement. You've got much more articulation, and you've got all the modes look decent. And I just don't see, like, I was like, well, I could fake it, and put him on a pedestal or something, make him look taller, and I don't need these $130 to $200 third parties. And now I'm realizing that, well, this thing's not perfect, but it's just not fitting in scale wise, and I'm not. I just wanted to get something that was closer to scale. So that's kind of. But this guy was so good that I fooled myself for a while. I actually had some other leader class stand-ins in my collection. For a little while, there was the most recent Oscar Prime that they released after I sold off some MP10s, and I still have some MP10s, but I just don't have those sealed, but wanted to loose one and displayed. I got some other ones. But also did it with Ultra Magnus until I actually got an Ultra Magnus and those kinds of things. So next, I'd like to talk about 6-shot as a G1 figure. And the thing about the G1 figure is that he is pretty awesome, to tell you the truth. This is one figure that could stand in Masterpiece scale size-wise. You also have like a G1 Blaster would fit the size. Jetfire would fit in with your G1 stuff, but really doesn't scale with it. But those are some G1 ones that are on the size of it. Galvatron is actually the right size. G1 Galvatron, nowhere near the aesthetic we would want out of a Masterpiece. But this dude here doesn't have quite the aesthetic. Not even any knees or anything. But it looked good, and the modes look good, and I think really with G1 they really did focus and concentrate on the alt modes, and I really think that there was, like, at least with this one alt mode. I think the Jet looks pretty decent. I mean, that's kind of what I think of when I think of 6-shot. Now let's get into talking about this guy here. So this is the Fanstoys Hydra FT-28, and I'm going to show a comparison of all of the different options that are out that are actual Masterpiece third party, and then I'm going to show a little bit of a comparison to the cartoon animation. But there's no sunbow on this guy, and that I could find, and then there's really no good full body pics. So anyway, of the cartoon aesthetic. So, but this one here, I've heard a lot of complaints about it, and I'm going to tell you, first off, it's a solid figure. He's hefty. He's solid, and he's definitely, it's a Fanstoys item. You can feel the quality in it. There's a couple of bad points to him, which I'll point out, but overall I don't think he's that bad. I mean, I think that actually they're going in a new direction with, like, the shoulder joints have such an articulation. They're set up to where he could wield a sword, and I gotta be real careful because I'm pretty sure we could break these shoulder joints but he could wield a two-handed wielding of his sword, and I think there's just some good stuff that they've done with this guy, and let's get that back because I really don't want it that But he can do really some good poses, probably superhero poses. But as you know, the knees, they say the knees are weak. Mine's not that bad, actually. I lucked out. I mean, I very seldom luck out. And if there's a problem with a figure, I'm usually the one to have that problem, but not that bad, actually. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but this guy here actually had some really bad knee joints. Like, his knees are far worse, so, I mean, they're floppier than floppy, but yeah, so, you know, I know you really can't compare a Hasbro toy to a Masterpiece release because you're just not getting the same thing. But I really think there will be a fix coming out for those knees. So the next thing I want to talk about with the actual Fanstoys one is how there is an uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to get these out. That's the first time I've seen Fanstoys with that, which mine's not as bad as other people's. So other people have some styrofoam stuck in there from shipping. But yeah, he looks the bill, he fits the part, he's what I would think that you'd want out of this. And personally, I waited. Now I've got a Hanzo on the way, so I'm going to do another video of a direct one-to-one comparison of him and Hanzo because I haven't seen that yet. Nobody's done that, and I think that's because so many people passed Hanzo and waiting for Fanstoys. So let's get into a comparison of all of them now. Okay, so here we are with all of the options that you have on the market currently available in the third party. And so we'll start with over on the left. This is the Terminus Hextron MMC's version. And you can still track him down if you want him. I think he just looks a little bit too, he's reformatted, he looks a little bit too not for me. I like the G1 aesthetic. This is the Fanstoys Hydra, which looks good. I mean, he looks great. And in my opinion, he looks the best. In fact, when we get up to a comparison with him and Hanzo, and when I get him in hand, I feel like I feel the same way. I feel like Hanzo is the most G1 cartoon accurate out of all of them, including Fanstoys. I can't really see what's going on with the bottom feet here to make a comparison, but I think that the lower legs on Fanstoys are the best. But everything above that matches the aesthetic better. I think Hydra looks good. I think Hydra looks better, but this is more accurate. So I mean, what are you torn between? And I can't speak for quality or anything like that until I get Hanzo in my hands, and I'll be doing a video on that one. So then this one over here is, and let's get him next to Hydra there. Okay, and then this one here is Gcreation's Fuma, and from what I understand out of everybody who's bought these along the way, they say Fuma's the best. Like, he is solid. That is a rock solid figure. You don't have weak knee joints on him. But then again, he looks a little reformatted to me. He doesn't quite look as sleek as Fanstoys, and I like the sleek look of Fanstoys. So let's go ahead and bring in I kind of zoomed in on this guy, but let's maybe zoom out a little bit. And let's do a comparison right there. So we've got, you could tell that this does not match the aesthetic 100% of the G1, and it looks good. And which also kind of got into where do you place on the G1 cartoon. He's got the symbols right here, and that would cover up some detailing they put. Consider putting them there, but it looks like they created a spot for you to put it right there. That's why I put mine there. But yeah, the Hydra is not exactly 100%. Let's go ahead and check out the this bad boy right here. That's not what I wanted to do. All right, and so here we are with these guys, and let's center them just a little bit more. I got a lot of open windows, I know. It's just how I operate. So I think that DX9 does hit it a lot closer. And then, of course, the tune colors, like the one I have coming in is the tune colors. And it is the G1 retro colors, and I like that better. And I think that here's the downside. I think Fanstoys is probably going to kick out a retro color version of theirs. So I don't know, man. Yeah, I'll be really upset if they kick out another one with retro colors and fixed knees, and they don't send me a free knee fix. I'd be really upset about that. Anyway, we've got more coming on this topic in the future, and I'm going to be slamming out a whole bunch more videos around Transformers and other great, wonderful topics. So, Titanium Hanger, out.